What's up, Mopar fam? I hope everybody out there is having a fantastic time. So we're going to get back to it on the TorqStorm Supercharger build. And today we're going to be putting on all the brackets and the pulleys. And most likely we should be able to get the supercharger head unit installed as well, along with the belt. So that is the game plan for today, is to get all of that done. And then we still got a lot more stuff to do, but we're going to shoot for that for the goal today. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to Joey the Taco over at Hot Damn Racing. Picked up one of his shirts, and this is a badass shirt, guys, so definitely go check out Hot Damn Racing YouTube channel and website. He's got a lot of cool stuff, and he's a badass dude, so definitely check him out. Also, we're going to have a little bit of help today. My son is actually going to help us out putting on these brackets and the supercharger. He has a school project coming up, and he's got to do some sort of a mechanic work, so we thought, what better mechanicing is there than installing a supercharger, right? Get over here. Here's our helper today. He's going to be learning how to put a supercharger on today, guys, so let's get it. All right, guys, so we're back to the TorqStorm install instructions, and we are at step number 11. And what they want us to do is they want us to pull this wire clip out of the head or the block, little retaining clip. We need to remove that, and then, you know, if you got a dirty truck, or possibly if it's up north, you're probably going to have some rust and corrosion in there, and they're recommending that you chase the threads with an M10 1.5 tap just to clean those threads up, because that will be for the bracket hardware we're going to be installing right here. So let's get that wire clip out and then get our bracket that we need. Alright guys, so we have our wires ready to go for the bracket. The first bracket we got to install, you got to remove these little clips out of the head and the block. And our first bracket we're going to install is going to go right here on the front side of the cylinder head, and one bolt will go down here to the actual engine block next to the sensor right there you see. So we're going to grab our bracket and hardware. Alright, so the next step, guys, is going to be to get the first head plate part number, which is this guy right here. And like I said, TorqStorm actually puts the part number on everything. So that's going to be our first bracket, and it's going to install right here on the cylinder head with a hardware, and then down here on the engine block with another bolt. And then there's some spacers, a spacer that goes in the top of the bracket, and then a spacer that goes on the bottom of the bracket for each bolt. The spacers are different sizes or thicknesses, as you can see. The thinner one goes at the top, and the thicker one goes at the bottom, which they tell you right here in the instructions. So very simple. And that's what we're going to do next. We're going to get this bracket installed and some hardware on it. Alright guys, so we have our first bracket put on the head, and there's 4 bolts. There's one at the top here that gets a spacer behind it. There's 2 smaller ones here in the middle, which we still got to put one more in, and then there's one at the bottom that also has a spacer behind it that goes to the actual engine block. Junior's down here in the hole. He's about to put the last bolt that holds that bracket on right there in the middle. And then we got to torque these guys down. You said that was an 8mm?
The bottom one, yeah.
Alright, so we're about to tighten up the first lower bolt, guys, and it is an 8mm Allen head. And Junior's about to run it down, get it snugged up a little bit. Go ahead. Alright. Then we're going to get these smaller ones, and those are, I believe, a 6mm. Alright, let's get these Middle one's tightened up. Cool beans. Get that other one right here there, Mr. Guy.
Oh, there we go.
Right there. See it? Here, I'll put you on it. There you go.
I can't see it.
Okay. We got her. Now we got one bolt at the top right here that we are going to have to use with a ratchet because there's not enough room between the radiator hose and that bolt. Alright, now we're going to tighten up the top bolt with a ratchet. Little man's going to go to town on that bolt. I like this job. It's easier to just film it and let someone else do all the work.
How much am I getting paid?
How much are you getting paid?
Yeah, what's my cut?
Approximately a Chick-fil-A lunch, baby. That's how much you're getting paid.
Easy.
Oh yeah, torque it down. Alright guys, we are back to the TorqStorm installation instructions. We're at step 17. We need to install another intermediate plate bracket with two M10 by 25 bolts, and this is going to bolt to the first bracket that we already installed right here. Just 2 bolts, and that is the bracket we're going to be putting on right here. So let's get this guy on. Alright guys, so we have our second intermediate bracket bolted to the first bracket we installed. We got the bolts just lightly threaded in, and we're about to have little guy here tighten them up with the ratchet. But they just go like that, and then the wires, you have to be careful to route them around the back without getting them pinched. Other than that, this part's pretty simple, so tighten them up, bro. Alright, get that bottom one. Alright guys, so now we are at step 18. We are getting very close to putting on the supercharger. So we are going to be installing the main bracket, some spacers, and some more hardware. And that's what it's going to look like right here. And here's the hardware. This is going to be for the top. This is going to be for the lower section of the bracket. And then this over here is going to be our main bracket, this big guy. And per the instructions, you do have to remove the tensioner that they already have assembled to this bracket, due to there's a bolt right there, a bolt hole that you're going to need to get to mount the bracket to the truck. And then once the bracket is mounted to the truck, then you will reinstall this tensioner back to the main bracket. Other than that, the instructions are super clear, nice pictures, letting you know exactly how it's going to go, what to torque it to, the actual size of the bolts and spacers, everything. Very simple. So we're going to get this tensioner unbolted real quick and get to putting this bracket on the truck. Alright, so we got big bracket here, got our tensioner. Little guy's about to break the bolt loose here. It is a 15 millimeter, I believe. Yeah, 15 millimeter nut. We're going to loosen and take it off. There we go. One nut is off. Then we're going to pull our bracket off the tensioner, and there we go. So we're going to go bolt on this main bracket after we hit him in the head with it, guys. And then we'll put the tensioner back on, and we're getting real close to the head unit. Alright, so we're going to get this first bracket mounted up, and the first hole is going to go to the top hole on the first bracket that we installed, and the lower holes will go to the very first bracket we installed on the engine. So you'll use that top upper bolt and one spacer. So I'm going to slide this through the top. The spacer will go on, and then we will fish this into that top section here. There's some lower hoses down there that runs to your heater core. That is kind of in the way, you got to finagle around. There we go, we got that hand tight, and we're going to get little guy under the truck, and he's going to help hold this bracket around and get the lower spacers and bolts threaded in down there. So let's get to it. Yep, that one was there, and here's that bolt there, dude. Yeah. And it is going to go right here in the very corner of that first bracket we installed. Baby, she looking shiny. Alright guys, we are about to tighten down these 3 bolts for the main bracket here. Let her rip, tater chip. Alright, hit that bottom one down there for next to where the tensioner goes. And the one back there underneath the thermostat hose. There you go. Bam! Alright guys, so the next step is to reinstall our tensioner pulley assembly back onto the main bracket. There is a little pin right here, if you can see it, little dowel pin made into the back of this tensioner, and there is a special hole drilled in the plate of the bracket right here for that pin to go into. So you want to make sure you get that pin inserted in the hole correctly, and we're gonna drop this guy in right here. And we got our helper underneath the truck. He's going to hold that for us, Mr. Helper. And then I'm going to start threading the nut on the back. And we're going to grab our tool. And then we're going to torque that guy down to about 1, 2 motherfuckers. Seems to be the magic number. 2, count them, 2 motherfuckers. Alright guys, so we are done with step number 19, which was putting on the main supercharger head unit bracket. We are to step 20 now, and guess what that is? Install the supercharger head unit, baby. So we're going to be installing the TorqStorm Supercharger onto the main bracket. We're going to get 7 3/8 bolts and washers and torque it down. So that's the next step. Alright guys, so here it is. Time to put the TorqStorm head unit onto the main bracket. Finally get to put the actual supercharger on. I'm excited. What do you think about this guy? Come here and just hold. Just come and hold the power. Just see what you think about this power right there. I mean, what is that? Does that not just make you feel more powerful?
Buy yours now. TorqStorm.com.
Like you can breathe better almost. It's just that badass, isn't it? This guy's a salesman. Buy yours now. Alright guys, we are about to drop in the TorqStorm Supercharger. So here we go. One bolt, sir. more. All right, I'm just going to put these 3 bolts in for right now. There is 7 that you're supposed to put in to hold it on. I'm going to put 3 for now and just snug these up until we get everything completely done, in case we end up having to take the supercharger back out to work with the intercooler tubing or anything like that. So I'm going to put 3 bolts in for now, but we will put all of them in later. All right, we're going to let little man snug those things down with the little battery ratchet here.
Uh-oh.
That's fine. And hit the other one up there in the front. Hold the back of your tool right there and it'll keep it from swinging down on you. There you go. Yeah, dog. Bam diggity. All right, guys. Got the supercharger head unit mounted on. Next step is 21, and we are going to be installing the supercharger belt now. Now, keep in mind, the factory engine belt that runs all your accessories, alternator, whatnot, that belt actually has to be installed first because it is going to be behind the supercharger belt. That's not listed in here, so you will need to install your factory belt first and then install the supercharger belt, and then you're good to go. So next step, we're going to put our belts on. All right, guys, so it's time to put the supercharger belt on. We have our factory belt installed already, as you can see. This is a very simple belt to put on for the TorqStorm Supercharger belt. And again, I do want to point out, okay, that this pulley system for the supercharger and the belt is an 8-rib drive belt pulley setup. Okay, the ProCharger kit is a 6-rib kit like your factory belt, so it's skinnier and they're prone to slipping. The TorqStorm kit is an 8-rib setup, so the belt is thicker and it has more material to grab a hold of on the new pulleys. Also, the tensioner setup on the TorqStorm, as you can see, has an actual tensioner. Okay, and you can see that is me moving the tensioner. It works and functions just like the factory tensioner does. Okay, so it always has pressure that's spring loaded, applying that pressure to the belt to keep it tight and from slipping. Now in the ProCharger kit, I do believe the tensioner setup on them is kind of a little bit janky, and it's more of like a threaded rod and a nut that you have to adjust to get a certain amount of belt tension per their measurements. Not the case with this setup. This drive system with the TorqStorm runs a real tensioner with a thicker belt and bigger pulleys. So it's going to get a good belt grab and it should not do any slipping whatsoever. Alright, Mopar fam, so you've seen we got the supercharger bolted up and we are getting closer and closer, that's for sure. Not much left to go. Tomorrow we're going to come back. We are going to work on some of the intercooler piping, trying to get that figured out, seeing if we need to get anything else. And we got to do the injectors still and button up a few other things. But other than that, we're making progress, definitely getting there. So as always, guys, stay safe out there. Don't forget to like, share, comment down below what you think of the build so far. Definitely hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys on the next one.